Hello everybody, I am back with yet another video. 2019 has been definitely one of the most challenging years mentally for me, but so far everything's good, going well, going great. If you want to skip to like the actual list, then there's a little timestamp, but I just want to sort of talk about the decade for a bit and sort of reminisce. I started to want to make videos when I was in like 4th grade, and then I remembered making like really shitty stop motion animations and like speed drawing videos because I didn't know what the fuck else to do. Technically I've been on YouTube for like 5 years just making stupid shit, and then here I am with Clove, this little project. I'm really grateful to be welcomed in the community, and it definitely helped create my identity and sort of helped me create like a stable foundation for this next decade, and I'm just so fucking excited for all the plans and all of the shit that I want to go pursue in 2020. For the channel itself, I won't be doing a bunch of reaction reviews anymore like this. They're gonna be more analytical, more, I guess, like video essay type stuff. I'm still gonna probably upload reactions here and there, but it's just not gonna be the main focus. I'm gonna finally make use of my Album of the Year account, so if you want to see reviews, then go on there. I'll be posting a shit ton in 2020. And yeah, that's really it. With all that probably cheesy ass rambling, we're just gonna get into the top 15. For this list, I kind of clickbaited you guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna include like EPs and albums, which like, they're not all that different, except I guess EPs aren't taken so seriously and put under a giant fucking microscope. They're just more like little snippets of like an artist's full potential. But I think EPs definitely have the quality and potential of living up to an actual album. My list has definitely changed since the half-year video, so there are only like a select few that have stayed. I'm just gonna give out 5 honorable mentions in no particular order. We have Brockhampton Ginger
K-Tronada
with Bubba, Malibu Ken with Malibu Ken, Little Sims with Gray Area, and Kyle Dion with Sugar. So without further ado, let's get into number 15, which is Queen Herbai's EP6. EP6 is Queen Herbai's like phoenix rising from the ashes moment. It radiates confidence with her poise and catchy production. The classical elements such as the harpsichord in Mozart or Nubich make the album sound more expensive in a way. Out of the 3 EPs that she released this year, this is definitely my favorite one. It just instantly hypes you up and makes you feel like fucking royalty. And Queen Herbai is the definition of rebranding. If you didn't know, Queen Herbai is the lead singer of Carmen. Remember that fucking early 2010 group? Remember Heartbroken, released in like 2012, 2014? That's the same bitch. And it even surprised me, but like, she's making amazing fucking music now, and I'm all for it. So if you haven't checked her out, there are 7 EPs as of recording this for you to choose from, so yeah. Number 14 on my list is Stella Donnelly's Beware of the Dogs. Beware of the Dogs is one I kept on hearing about throughout the year, and I decided to finally check it out. And thank God that I did, because this album is absolutely fantastic. If you're looking for like a sweet, like indie folk, indie rock project, then I highly recommend this. On the surface, it may look like a good bunch of uplifting and down-to-earth tunes, but the lyrical contents and messages that Donnelly delivers are spoon-fed to you till you realize that this album is potent with emotion and a lot of her personality. The track Boys Will Be Boys is definitely one of the most heart-wrenching songs of 2019. It simultaneously brings out empathy, sorrow, and disgust. It's probably the only song, at least one of the only songs, that I can almost cry to while feeling perfectly fine prior to listening to it. Just another indie artist on the come up with a lot of fucking talents and creativity on her hands, so definitely check her out. Number 13, we have our first album that has continued to stay in my list, and that is Pup's Morbid Stuff. I've already discussed this in my half-year video, but to sum it up, the pop punk definitely served as a nostalgia factor for me, but even without that taken into account, The project is still very enjoyable. Sonically, it's organic yet clean. The energy is freeing and it carries so much life throughout the tracklist. The guitars are loud and infectious, making this whole listening experience just a wild, fun joyride. Number 12 is Hobo Johnson, the fall of Hobo Johnson. I have never thought I would enjoy Hobo Johnson as much as I did prior to listening to this. The album is spasmodic and scattered, yet still holds together in a cohesive form. Frank's voice and uneasy flow adds character and authenticity to the polished instrumentals. It's compiled in a way that makes this thing sound like a movie soundtrack. Ode to Justin Bieber is a good example of that, and it's definitely one of my favorite songs off that album. The whole thing is just cheesy, witty, sometimes corny, but those are the elements that just make me like the album more. By the way, You and the Cockroach is the best skit that I've ever heard in an album. Number 11, we have Hope Tallis' Sensitive Soul EP. I replayed the shit out of Love Stained, and I just had to listen to this. It's a sweet project filled with refreshing organic guitars and simplistic beats. Hope's voice is hazy, soft, and soothing. The tropical inspirations in songs like Jealous and Sunburn bring a nice splash of color, as well as this vintage feel to the EP. It's a very relaxing listen about a toxic relationship, making this sound somber yet empowering. We're in the top 10 now. Number 10 is Sabrina Claudio's Truth Is. Sabrina's soft voice glides smoothly along each track, making this a very intimate listen. The simplistic R&B gives off this sensual and mysterious effect that leaves you dazed, but she also delivers stronger tracks like Rumors and As Long As You're Asleep. Despite the minimal production, it still carries a unique life that Sabrina is able to paint with her whispery voice. It's very hypnotizing. This album's hypnotizing. Number 9 is JPEG Mafia's All My Heroes Are Cornballs. The pacing and structure with All My Heroes Are Cornballs is bizarre, to say the least. The beats are muddy and smear through the track list, with surprises of sporadic distortion here and there. It's like an abstract, satirical piece on internet clicks. That's a double entendre right there. For whatever reason, this album, if I could imagine, is like those weird video games that you just don't have any second thoughts about, but then later you realize they carry like subliminal ARG cult recruition material. That's kind of what this album is. Number 8 is Joy Crooks with her Perception EP. Both EPs that Crooks put out this year were fantastic. They were catchy and vibrant and just a nice handful of tunes. But Perception had that extra kick that just really pushed it to my top 10, as you can see, because it just improves across almost every aspect that she delivers on Reminiscence. There's variety across all 5 tracks while still maintaining consistency. The upbeat R&B neo-soul of Hurt and No Hands are addictive and really hook you in. London Mine really puts you in Crooks' shoes and creates a vivid perspective of her upbringing in London. That track is the epitome of dancing while the whole world's on fire. Since I Left You is melancholy and emotionally potent, and it ends with a sense of closure in Darkest Hour. I just gave you a whole abstract of that EP. It's just really fucking good, and I love it so much. Number 7 on my list is Danny Brown's You Know What I'm Saying. This is a perfect balance of witty and introspective. I found myself laughing to some of the bars throughout this project. Ignore a binge like a email from LinkedIn or whatever. Fucking in a Burger King bathroom. This album is just bizarre. The sampling combined with the grimy, old-school hip-hop beats complements Danny's cartoonish and nonchalant voice. His choppy flow definitely contrasts with the smoothness of the production, but that sort of just creates this yin-yang relationship within the project. And I love how Danny intertwines these elements of production, lyrics, and flow to complement the features that he has in this project. Fucking Run the Jewels, JPEG Mafia, fucking... I can't even think. Blood Orange, that's what it was, Jesus Christ. I just had an aneurysm. This album just leaves you delirious, but in a good way. It's just a very odd trip and I love it. Number 6 on my list is yet another one that has returned from the half-year video, and that is Raveena's Lucid. I won't go into too much detail about this album because I would just sound like a broken record from that video. What I will say is that the softness and calmness of Lucid is truly addicting, and this album for me served as an instant safe space while I'm anxious, healing from trauma, or fucking doing Korean skincare on a Saturday night. Okay, top 5, starting off with Dorian Electra's Flamboyant. Dorian definitely entered the electropop scene with confidence, a unique character. It's rare to find a drag king in, like, popular media. I'm not saying that they're mainstream, but they've definitely shown a light towards drag kings and that sort of culture. The way that they push masculinity past its limits is just very exhilarating, and the combination of classical elements and unique uses of autotune woven into the electronic art pop is definitely energizing and fresh. It's just banger after banger after banger, and I just love it so much. This album definitely blew me away, and it's just a wild ass fucking listen. Alright, number 4 on my list is Mikayla's, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Radio Suicide. Now, this album is definitely unique because it's over an hour long. Keep in mind, I don't do well with long albums. Like, once I'm bored, I'm just not gonna bother listening to it. And I didn't understand like a good 97% of this album because it's mostly in French. But it still made it to my fucking top 5. So needless to say, it's fucking good. Mikayla is a Swiss rapper, I think, and his project Radio Suicide was suggested to me by one of you guys. Hopefully I can find a DM or message somewhere. I know they've recommended it to me in a live stream too. Even though I don't understand the lyrical contents of it, just the production and structure overall is infectious, and it makes the hour go by instantly, just like that. It's a mix of sticky bass and heavy synths in tracks like Savannah and SOS, but it also breaks away at times with more polished songs like this one. I'm not gonna pronounce it because I don't want to make a fool of myself on the internet. Every track is so distinctive, and it continues to just pull you in throughout the hour. And I really hope that the language barrier doesn't stop you guys from listening to this project. Me not understanding the lyrics is just a giant piece of the puzzle missing, but if all the other elements have bumped it up to my top 5, then that chunk, if I were to understand it, would have probably just made it album of the year. I don't fucking know. Number 3 is 100 gecs with 1000 gecs. If I could describe this album in one word, it would be erratic. Or hell. Hell also fits the description. This album definitely pulled me into the electropop scene with other artists like Sophie, Ice Peak, and Grimes. It's pure insanity and very unpredictable, yet Laura and Dylan still had a secure hold of the reins of this stupid horse to keep the madness under control. Controlled chaos is a phrase that would be the best way to describe this whole spick. This project is edgy and satirical, and almost serves as a fuck you to just music production in general. It gives off this weird, like, rebel scene kid energy, making this album annoying, but still mesmerizing. I still love it regardless. I saw them live. Me and my friends were the only ones jamming out and screaming the lyrics on the top of our lungs. I don't know why they opened for Brockhampton out of all artists, but hey, I wasn't complaining. I fucking loved it. Number 2, oh my god. We have FKA Twigs with Magdalene. This album is beautiful. Twigs saturates this project with raw emotion while experimenting with art pop in order for her to exaggerate this narrative of healing from heartbreak. The atmosphere that she creates is as if something extraterrestrial-like is being brought down and translated into something coherent and listenable to the human ear. Hence why Fallen Alien is a track on this album. This was a 9 out of 10 album on the initial listen. The only song that I didn't enjoy in the track list, because I just didn't think it fit, was Holy Terrain. But now I think it fits nicely as Twigs puts this egotistical facade in order to cope with an ex-lover. She presents her own stages of grief, from anger, depression, ego as mentioned before, and it all ends off beautifully in the song Cellophane with acceptance. This album will give you an out-of-body experience, I can guarantee you that. Well, we're here. Album of the Year of 2019, ending the decade off. Number 1 album of the year is Chance the Rapper's Big Day. It's funny because I haven't even fully listened to the album either because it was just so horrendous. Yeah, it's Tyler the Creator with Igor. I already talked about this album fucking twice on my channel. Nothing much has changed except for my ever-growing love for this fucking project. It's Tyler's best work, in my opinion, and it just stuck with me throughout this whole year. I based this list not only on, the quality of the music, but also their, emotional and personal ties to me. And Igor definitely just sort of stuck with me because of the personal experiences and relatable experiences I've had with that album. It never got old throughout the countless times that I've replayed the ever-living shit out of this album. It's beautiful, I saw it live. I have 2 Igor posters in my room. Oh my god, that album is just so fucking good. 2019 and this whole decade in general has been fucking fantastic for music, and I can't fucking wait to see where the direction goes. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Album of the Year. I have a lot of shit planned. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I swear to God, I will upload soon.